Hey guys, what's up? It's Kyle. Welcome back to another video. If this is your first time watching, I'm Kyle. I own a company that does seven figures a year at the age of 30. And today I wanted to share how I got started. More specifically, how I went from making $13.50 an hour to six figures in a 9-month timeline. So, today what we're going to talk about is how to leverage those around you, how to condense your timeline for growth to get what you want, and most importantly, how to separate yourself from the pack, especially when you're first starting out. So, a little background on this: I had applied for one job when I had graduated college, and I got it. I wanted to be in Nashville, and it just so happened that I applied to a role. Got a call back pretty quickly. Took about 3 months to find out, but I did end up getting that. So I was 21, did not know a soul when I first moved to Nashville, but I did have an opportunity. The opportunity was this: you made $13.50 an hour for the first few months. It was an internship that led into a full-time role as long as you passed your certifications and exams, basically your licenses, if you will, in the financial services industry. And if you were able to do that, you had the opportunity to then have a full-time role. So for me, first day in, little intimidating. I was the youngest person in my training class by several years. In fact, there was somebody in a training class ahead of me. This guy's name, we will just call him Tom, for example. But Mr. Tom was in there, and he was about in his 40s. I think he worked at a bank or something like that previously. And met Tom day one, and day two, Tom was gone. They had let him go. So again, if you did well, you got a role. If you didn't, well, it was sayonara. So there was a lot of pressure to pass these licenses, if you will, on the first go. For me, it was something I put my head down and studied. We did pass, thankfully, and that led me the opportunity to snag a potential territory. So basically, what you did was there was a bullpen, if you will, of people that were in the training classes that they had, and again, they would choose from those classes to then get a territory. Now, there was almost 200 territories. Think of it as your A territories where you actually made pretty good money, and your B territories, they were not that many of them. They were few and far between, but no one really wanted these. These were really meant for the people coming right out of training. I was the first one to get one of these territories and get a spot, which, going through product training, learning what we sold, what we talked about, I felt extremely prepared, and very quickly realized that I knew absolutely nothing. It's one thing to do it in a mock scenario. It's a whole other ball game whenever you're actually talking to customers. So one of the things I did, and I had no idea what I was doing at the time, but it worked out and it served me extremely well to this day, was I basically created a Word document, for lack of a better term, but I called it Stuff I Don't Know, or I don't know, basically. And it was a very long list. Don't get me wrong. It was almost like a little encyclopedia. But a lot of what I included in here were things I didn't know. So if I was in a tough conversation with a customer, whether it was they asked me a question that I had no idea what the answer was to it, or more importantly, if they gave me an objection and I just didn't know how to handle it, it would all go on the list. Also, things that I heard other people say or do or I saw that I was like, man, I want to learn how to do that better. Again, everything went on the I don't know list. So one of those things that I would look out to try to do is say, hey, what can I include on here? How do I really condense my timeline to get to where maybe the people that are in these A territories around me that are really leading the pack, the A players at the company, how do they get there quickly? What do they wish they would have known sooner? Or what are some of the things that they did right, and how can I implement that so I can fast track and condense that timeline? For me, it was a number of different things. I was 21 at the time. I had to try to figure out how to use my age to my advantage. And one of the things I did was really pressed myself and had a true desire to learn. It was not fake. I actually wanted it because I saw what success could be. So after getting that B territory, one of the A territories opened up. It was a top 5 territory in the company. Like I said, there was almost 200 of them. And within a 9-month period of starting out, I got it. And I was able to go from basically making $13.50 an hour to now having a six-figure role with bonuses, salary, etc. At that time I was 22. So from 21 starting out and to 22. And for me, I think there's a couple things to take away from this, guys. One of them, I didn't know anything. I wasn't any better than anybody. I promise you. I certainly, some of it was right place, right time, but there was a lot of people that came through there that never had an opportunity like that, never got into one of those roles, and faded out. And I think the real difference was A, wanting to actually learn and to get there as quickly as possible. B, talking about condensing the timeline, learning from others, whether that's your manager, whether it's a coworker, maybe it's somebody that's ahead of you that may not even be at the same company, but learning from those that have gone before you and trying to condense that timeline as much as possible. The other thing too is this: I'm not at that company anymore. As I mentioned, I have my own firm now, my own company. But I didn't realize this as much at the time, but you have to understand that your earlier roles are simply building blocks to the foundation of the career that you're going to have for yourself. So for this role, it was public speaking, it was sales, it was phone skills, things that, quite frankly, I kind of sucked at in the beginning. Not kind of, I did suck at in the beginning. And along with the ability to have a high standard for what I'm willing and able to do, when you're first starting out, your resume really just looks like maybe a handful of internships that you slapped together and tried to make sound like you were doing things important when you were really just filing paperwork or working in Excel, etc. But beyond your education, you don't really have a whole lot to show for yourself. So one of the few things that I realized at the time was, hey, if I can learn as much as possible, condense my timeline and learn from those ahead of me, and show that I'm willing and able to take on any workload and do whatever it is, even if I don't have that skill right now, I'll go and get it. That's what led me the opportunity to beat out all the other applicants, and again, go from $13.50 a hour to a six-figure job in 9 months at 22. So would love to tell you guys the story as things go on further, what I did after that role, and then how I eventually led to starting my own company and turning it into a seven-figure business. But I did want to start here today because a few of you had asked how I got started, and I would love to hear your experience of this as well. Where did you start? What are some of the things that you learned early on, maybe that you did really well, or also things that you wish you would have known sooner? And if you'd like to see more videos like this, guys, there's plenty more to come. I can talk a lot about finance, career, personal development, really just anything under the sun. I really enjoy making these videos and doing it, obviously, over a game that we all love. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you click subscribe, and I'll see you next time.